Hey guys, it's been a while since I've last uploaded. I've just been going through a couple of things. I mean, after I made my last video, I got with my first girlfriend, and you know, I kind of just stopped focusing on doing the things I like so much. I was always worried about doing things for other people, which I've been kind of like a people pleaser for a long part of my life. I'd say most of it. And but you know, I didn't I didn't really have that spark with my first one. It died out for a while, so I went back, tried to live life again, and I got there, and then I met somebody that I really really liked. We hit it off for a couple of months, and then I put all my time into that. I put all my attention and time, and I stopped making videos and kind of stopped doing what I like a lot. I might have gamed from now and then, but I stopped doing it as often and just kind of stopped hanging out with friends. I'd spend a lot of my time with her. And then we broke up and I kind of lost my mind. And, you know, the thing about being a people pleaser is that my whole life, I've been worried about what other people think about me. And I didn't really do what I enjoyed a lot. If somebody invited me somewhere, I'd be like, okay, I'd just go do whatever they want to do, and I wouldn't complain. Even if I didn't really like it that much, I would just be glad to hang out with somebody because you know I'm not the type of guy to have that many friends. Kind of a nerd, I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. Being a nerd, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. There's a lot of cool nerds. I know a lot of cool nerds, but they if you're a cool nerd but you're not that attractive, that's where shit gets complicated. And, past 3 years, I've been working hard on the gym, and I feel like, my confidence has gone up quite a bit, but just not to the point that it really matters. Like I feel like I look better. I feel like I'm a little more confident. I speak my mind a little more. I'm not as scared to tell people, what's up. But then, sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, you still see the same person from years ago. And it's a little devastating. It it gets you really worried about what people think about you. And I know I'm gonna get really deep into this because I don't know, I wouldn't say I've been having the greatest time after I went out on my own, became an adult, gotta work every day, pay bills, shit like that. Things get just worse objectively, stress levels go up. Everybody thought they had it hard in school, and then you go out into the real world and people at work are dicks for no reason, or people try and make your life harder, or drama, and you're always thinking, and it gets to you. And I've always heard the same thing. It's like, just don't care. Just don't care what other people think. And, in my opinion, it's a little difficult for me. Not caring what other people think, it's almost impossible for me. I'm always worried about what other people think, especially my friends, the people closest to me. They're the ones that I care about. Some random stranger, if they said something stupid, I wouldn't want to correct them. But my closest friends and family, if they said something stupid, I'm hopping on that shit. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to help them. Not that they, need help from me, but it's more of the fact that I want to. I want to make sure whether somebody's having a rough time or whether they just said something stupid, I'd be like, okay. But I correct them because I love them. Not to mention, I just, it's hard to connect with people these days. New people, I should say. There's always this underlying fear of like the newest person you meet is not gonna be. People are worried that they're not gonna like each other. That happens quite a bit, I'd say. People are scared to get into relationships, and then I'm not talking about romantic or sexual or anything like that. I'm just friendships. At work, you always hear that you shouldn't be friends with your coworkers, just go there, do your job and leave, and it's like, what kind of life is that? Why would you want to do that to yourself? You're gonna spend the next 8 to 10 hours in this one place for who knows how long. Why wouldn't you want to be friends with these people? Especially if they're cool people. Now, if they're not cool people, I can understand that. But I guess bottom line is, why would anyone want to make themselves alone? Because that's how it feels sometimes. When you grow up and you get out of high school and you stop seeing those friends that, you know, maybe you weren't that close with them, but you still saw them every day. Once that disappears, it's just becomes so much more lonely. And then you're stuck with either the people that you've known from day one or nobody. Because people that are closest to you usually stick by, and sometimes you lose them. I lost a friend that I knew for like 8 years. Not because I hate him or not because he hates me, but we just kind of split. We went about life differently. And, he's living his and I'm living mine, and no hate against him. But it still doesn't feel good. And the the people that you want to be friends with are the ones that usually they change. Sometimes it's for the better, but I've lost a lot of the friends that, I thought were good people, and then they do something that's not so good. And whether it's about me or about somebody else, I just can't be friends with somebody that, you know, doesn't, is not the greatest person. It weighs on my conscience too much. People call me picky, say, you get who you get, beggars can't be choosers. But at the same time, wouldn't you want to hang out with people that are good, that respect you, respect other people around them? I it's hard to articulate how lonely it is to find the people that you think are right for you. Sometimes you don't know what's right for you. Sometimes you meet that one person that you really like, but you end up don't really talking that much. Or when you do, you find out more things about them. And it's scary. It's so scary. I never thought I'd end up like this in life. When I was 15, 16, I thought things were sweet. It's going to be great, I'll get through my school and get that degree and go out into the real world and things will be easy. I'll be strong and independent. And it's like, I don't know how strong I am. How strong do you have to be? Maybe I'm just clingy. Maybe I'm just obsessive. But I miss the things that really brought joy to life, the people, the the things I used to do. I miss it when there just wasn't so much on my mind all the time, when I'm not thinking about either money or the person I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life with. Because I think that's the scariest thing to me. If you don't find that person, what do you do? There's not always a happy ending to every story. There's some people that never find their person. There's some people that don't need to, and they're perfectly content living by themselves with doing whatever they do. But I just don't think I'm one of those people. I'm very, I'm very, I live for other people. I like doing, I like doing things for other people. Brings me joy. It really does. Every time somebody asks me to go do something with them, I take it personally in like a good way. The fact that, hey, you went out of your way to ask me, some nobody, to spend time with you. That means the world to me. And you don't really realize when you're younger how much that really means until it's all taken away. When you get older, things things just stop. They slow down. They're not the same anymore. You might hang out with your friends once a month now instead of every day. Or you might not see any of them ever again. And a lot of your time is be taken up trying to make money because that's what runs the world. Money to pay the bills and to afford food, and then you got that little bit left to do what you enjoy. And I enjoy very little things. I like learning. I want to be as smart as I can possibly be. I like gaming because I feel like it tests my skills. I like reading sometimes, especially nonfiction. And I occasionally dabble in hobbies that are way out of my skill set just to see what happens. Sometimes they're a waste of money, sometimes they're not. But I think it's all about taking risks in life. It's all about taking that chance. I never used to be that guy that would take a risk, that would go out of his way to go do something. But now that I'm bored all the time, now that I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do, I'm ready to take those risks. Somebody asked me, you know, at 10 o'clock at night, hey, you want to go do something? Now I'm that guy that's like, yeah, what are we doing? I used to take everything for granted. I just wanted to stay in my room and play video games like any kid would. And it's like I feel like I wasted my teenage years a little bit when I could have been out making friends. I kind of realized at a young age that I wasn't really normal. Like that's okay, not everybody's normal, but it definitely affected me socially, and it took a lot of, I want to say, realization, a lot of change as well. It took a lot of time to realize that I wasn't normal, and a lot of change to really figure out how to talk to people, how to interact, and how to be seen as like the cool guy. And even now, I don't really think I'm that cool. I'm all right. Yeah, I'm nice. I'll do a lot of things for different people. But do people like me because of who I am or because what I do for them? That's the question I've asked myself many times. And that's a scary question to ask. Because what if you're not appreciated for who you are? That's when I learned from a wise man that you kind of have to live your life sometimes and say no to the people. Say no in general, because sometimes when you only live for other people, you'll never be happy for yourself. And I'm trying to go on that journey right now. I'm trying to figure out what I like, who I like, what's worth it in life, what's what should I spend my time doing, because every day is less time. Every day that passes is less time that you have in your life. And I'm young. It's a little dumb to see it like that because I have so much time left. But even then, I've thought about like how many hours have I wasted doing s- something that even if I did enjoy it, I could have been doing something else that in the long term probably would have brought me more joy. It's hard to think about stuff like that. It's definitely scary. But I'm realizing that the more you dwell on thoughts like that, the sadder you're just going to make yourself. And you don't want to make yourself sad. Sometimes you have to just stay in the present or look to the future instead of dwelling on the past, because you can't change the past. You can't fix your mistakes. You can feel guilty for them, but there's not much you can do to remedy them. All you can do is ask for forgiveness for anything that you fucked up on and look forward. I've never I've never tried to harm anybody in my entire life, mentally or physically, and I don't think I ever have. But I have messed up relationships because I'm weird. And I wish I could go back and fix them. But now I just have to look ahead. I'll probably feel bad for the rest of my life, but what do you do? It's time. It's time to look forward. And that's what I've been trying to do. I think that's all I had to say today. I appreciate you guys for listening. I'll be releasing a lot more happy stuff in the future. I'm gonna get back into this because this is actually one of my favorite hobbies. I love gaming with friends and I love editing videos. So I'm gonna try and get some out soon. And this one is just, it didn't take too long to make, but it took mentally the longest to make. And I'm just gonna try and look forward. Appreciate whoever's listening. I just needed to get this out there.